Hello all, my name is Anil Singh and my topic is a solution framework for backdoor governance of accounting software. You must be aware of ransomware attacks, backdoor attacks into systems, and accounting are not immune to such attacks. Uh, there are cases where backdoors are necessary, where backdoors are exploited. So in some cases, there are ethical situations. You must have heard of the Apple case 2 years back where Apple refused to decrypt a cell phone of a suspected terrorist. So there are a lot of things involved in uh, backdoor aspects on systems, or for that matter, any kind of information. So what is a backdoor? These are passwords that are useful. These are admin passwords, but sometimes these are exploited. And once that happens, it leads to attacks. Leads to sometimes it leads to ransomware attacks. So uh, it leads to losses for an organization. There is breach of privacy. There is loss of crucial data, loss of customer loyalty. So, due to all these reasons, organizations need to really to address such issues. So, what does it mean for auditors? Why is it important for auditors to know about such backdoor attacks and ransomware attacks and any kind of IT attacks? Well, they are responsible for the internal controls in an organization, and therefore they need to be aware of such types of attacks. And of course, there's a compliance requirement for auditors, and they are required by Section 302 and 404 to be to provide assurance that they have met the internal of an organization. Done so far in uh, trying to address these backdoor uh, attack situations. One is signature system. Some people used checksum techniques. Some used framework, searching for code, malicious code within code. Some have even considered behavioral aspects such as training employees, making them aware, employee awareness. Okay. So you can see there are all these different solutions, but they are in only specific areas. One is technical, one is behavioral, and you could have ethical situation and things like that. So they have looked at only one part of the problem. My solution framework is to bring it all together, and we talk about uh, an entity, oversight entity, software company, repository, law enforcement, and users. So this framework encompasses many aspects of this problem. So you are trying to fix the problem by looking at the whole picture. So there are 6 aspects, and in the following slides, I'll talk about each one of these aspects. So there is oversight entity, software development companies, software repository, enforcement authorities, individual end users, organizational end users. So what's a oversight entity? These are the people who will be responsible to make decisions regarding whether to release encryption to release a backdoor to software. They will have to grapple with the ethical situations. So these will be judges, international judicial system, governments, UN, consortiums. Software companies, these are the companies who provide all the checksums and backdoors and any kind of hashes uh, repository. Okay. Now, in some cases, it will be available to all. In some cases, it will not. Okay. So, software repository, this will contain all the encryption checksum provided by all the software companies. Okay. So, they will be required by law to kind of deposit all their admin passwords into the repository. Okay. So who will have access? All, and in certain cases where privacy is in such cases the law enforcement will, with permission from the oversight, have access to such repositories. So we have law enforcement authorities. You could have police, IRS, FBI, Interpol, and such. So let's take an example of a accounting information system. So you have a situation where an AIS is completely encrypted, and the IRS wants to uh, get access to that information. So after they have judicial permission from the oversight entity, they should be able to tap into the repository and get uh, the encryption. They should be able to open the software. Okay. So end users. So users are usually, there are two end users, individual, and then there is organizational end users. And why am I talking about individual end users here? They are going to be using their products, their own personal instruments in the organization. So you see BYOD, bring your own device, is becoming very common. And so end users also need to be aware of all kinds of software that they download. So they need to be trained too. Okay. So I have a bunch of advice. They can use this encryption repository. So they can compare their checksum, okay, with the repository checksum to figure out whether that software is authentic software or not. Okay. Organizational end users. So we have uh, auditors who will be responsible to for the uh, intersection. So this is the part where they need to be aware of. So they can use this framework. This framework can also become part of the COBIT or COSO framework. Okay. And so I've given them some advice regarding how internal control can be further strengthened. So what's the paper contribution? If you see extant research, you will realize that people have done specific areas, addressed problems in only specific areas like technical or just ethical and so on. This framework covers all the aspects of um, dealing with backdoor attacks. So I'll give you a few paper. Thank you for your time, and I hope you